I built this small chicken coop for some folks here in town. These guys are like total animal lovers. They're getting some chickens, and there are a few cool features in this build that I thought you might like to check out. One is that it's built on vents, and that's just like a really simple way to build a lightweight structure up off the ground. So basically you build a couple of these like goalpost looking things. That's your vent, and then work to level everything up, and it looks all wibbly wobbly at first, but after you get it squared away, it ends up being a nice frame for your structure. Not a structure made for humans and 500 pounds per square inch or anything like that, but a good structure for chickens. Alright, it's also got this little overlip on the edge. You'll see that later, and that overlip or overhang is the nesting box. This coop has an integrated nesting box, which is, I think, kind of cool. It means you don't have to do separate roofing or anything. It's also insulated, so I put a subfloor down underneath the framing. Then I laid insulation down on top of that, filling in the voids, the cavities, and then put a floor down, just using pretty thin OSB. Again, chickens, big old chickens end up being like 12 pounds, so you don't need to overbuild your chicken coop. Unless you're going to be crawling in it and sleeping out there, which, that could happen. Alright, so anyway, with the dog running around in the background and a few other animals, which you will see in a while, I just kept building on top of those vents. So the whole floor is in, and then I put these two members in on the edges, kind of like the edges of your ceiling structure, and they're on a slope. That way you get good, rain runoff and snow runoff and all that. It also allows for a little bit more headroom on one end of the coop, which is nice for chickens, because when your chickens go into the coop at night, they like to roost just a little bit. There are a couple things you got to know about chickens if you haven't raised them before. One is that they will go up for the night on their own into the coop and roost. The other is that if you build a nesting box just a little bit separate, like a little bit of a separate space, that's where they're going to lay their eggs. They won't just lay their eggs anywhere. They like a little protective cavity. So this has nesting boxes. If you want to go real basic, you can use like an old kitty litter box or a bucket. Like anything works as a nesting box. Alright, so I'm laying down a little bit of tar paper here. That's just a sub-membrane underneath the roofing, just for extra dryness, a little bit of extra security. Alright, so just a brief diversion from the project. These guys have these tortoises in the backyard, and they will check stuff out. Let's go check them out. They keep crawling around the site, and I'm always worried about stepping on them. This is the smaller one. There's two of them. And I think they were rescued from some kind of agency or something in California. Anyway, what's up, buddy? Hey! Tortoise number one. If I see tortoise number two, I'll show you. Anyway, right now I'm just putting tar paper on the roof. I'm going to tar paper, put some strips up there, and then do metal roofing. You can see I got some of the siding together. This is going to be a guillotine door, maybe a slider. Siding over here, just need to trim up the sides. And on the inside, it's going to be a big kind of double open door so you can clean everything out. And I will put some flooring on this, some leftover flooring, just to make it waterproof and easy to clean. And then the inside still needs some insulation on two walls. That wall's insulated, and then the box needs to be insulated and closed out. Alright, so if you didn't notice with the coop, there's pretty much a cavity in all the walls and the floor and everything, and that cavity gets filled with insulation. So, so I insulated the floor first, then built on top of that. Then I insulated the ceiling, so the whole roof is insulated, almost as if it was like a modular build. So the roof is insulated, and then the walls have cavities. So to create those cavities, I do what I'm doing right here. I put in like a piece of siding, and then it creates a void that I can then fill with insulation before I put the interior walls up. No drywall or anything, just some really thin OSB. And then this is the door for the nesting box. You want to be able to get in there and get your eggs. These guys are going to have 6 chickens. They're going to have, 4 or 5 eggs a day, something like that, with a healthy younger flock like that. So anyway, you want to be able to get in there. Roof is a steel roof. 1 sheet of roofing roofs the whole thing. Keep in mind, when you're building your coop, take your measurements and build your coop and everything you run based on the material size you have. So I've got a sheet of roofing that's 36 inches wide. That means my roof can't be more than 6 feet wide if I'm using 2 sheets. And you'll see a few other things like that. Like the floor here is 4x4 because that allows me to chop a piece of plywood in half and create a 4x4 floor. So just think a little bit ahead, and you won't have big cracks and creases everywhere and having to add little strips of roofing. All right, here is a little bit of a closer look at that guillotine door. You don't have to use a guillotine door with your chicken coop. You could have a flap door or a hinge door or whatever. I just like them because there's no way to bang them open and shut from the inside or the outside. So no predators are getting in, your chickens aren't going to push their way out or anything like that. They're also no nonsense easy to open and close from outside the coop. So you run the string up from the guillotine door over a pulley or even like a nail or something, and then out of the run, and from outside the run, you don't have to go into chicken land to open this thing and close it. There are some people who've automated their guillotine doors. That's cool, but this one's not automated. All right, this is the run construction, and there's a trench around the entire thing. In this case, there are a lot of roots, so it didn't get down a foot or anything like that, but it's more like 4, 5, 6 inches. And in that trench, I buried the construction cloth. I would strongly recommend you in your coop build. This is the first coop you're building. If you've got any predators around, use construction cloth. It's just way more rugged than this stuff. This is chicken wire. And I do use chicken wire on the top part of the run. But down below where rugged predators might dig in, I always use construction cloth. It's just impenetrable, whereas chicken wire is good stuff. It's just not impenetrable. All right, now this run is also built to the width of the chicken wire. Same deal. So, I boxed it all out with pressure treated stuff, put in a couple posts, and then that way you can just run your chicken wire very cleanly and tightly and staple it to your posts and your framing and everything. Dude, there's nothing worse than a run that is really loose and wiggly. All right, you are watching me right here wire the chicken wire to the construction cloth, and I just get a big old roll of electrical wire for like electric fences, not for like wiring a house or whatever, but it's so cheap. If you buy a little spool of wire at the hardware store, it's going to cost you like $5, but for like 20 bucks, you can get one of these big spools. All right, under close supervision from this crazy old tortoise, who I think is like 70 years old or whatever, I got busy building the door to the run. One of the last things I was doing. If you're going to build one of these doors, make sure you have this diagonal member leading up, the top piece leading up to where your latch is. And I use some big old lag bolts just to lock it together. You don't want your door to sag. You can see in this case I put it down at the end of the run. Just kind of made sense and allowed me to put a bigger door on there so you could actually get stuff in and out of the coop. All right, listen up. This is the final tour of the coop. You gotta check it out. I guess we'll start top to bottom. You got the steel roof, you got the ridge cap up there. It's built to have some eaves, so you got some overlap, and it's built to drip over the nesting boxes. Nesting boxes on this guy are integrated, so it's not like a separate deal. You've got a couple bolt latches on the nesting box door, and that's where you get your eggs. So these guys will fill this with straw. Really, this is a 6 chicken coop, so you really only need like 1 nesting box, 2 nesting boxes, so that's plenty of room. Backside, capacious overhang, nothing really going on back here. Coop is on blocks and legs, so there's room underneath for the chickens to hang out. And the feeder is going to come in on the side and feed underneath. PVC pipe feeder, you've seen those, haven't built it yet. All right, this is the main action door. You've got some vinyl flooring, vinyl remnant. There's a nesting box. You've got a roost pole up in there. They can chill out at night, and that is their egress door, chicken door. And then this is the guillotine action here. It's hitched, and to loosen it, you just lower the string, guillotine door up and down, nice and secure at night. All right, that's about it. Then you got the run. The run, like I said, is built for chicken wire up above and then construction cloth buried down below. So you've got construction cloth buried around the perimeter. Inside you can see a little chicken ramp going on. If they put chicks in here, you know, small, kind of like 4-week-old, like pre-pullet, we'll put another little ramp in there for them. But pullets can get up on that. They can jump, walk up the little chicken shack ramp, hop in the door. Again, feeder underneath. And then this is the human door here in the run, built wide enough to pull a wheelbarrow in and out of if you need to. All right, that's about it. If you're interested in coop builds, I've got a couple other ones on my channel. Thanks for checking it out, and good luck with the chickens.